What's terrific? Thank you for stopping in. I'm ready to do the August 2022 book haul video. I picked up some stuff that I think is cool in the month of August, and I've showed you already quite a few things that I've gotten in, but here's a conglomeration of things that I picked up on Facebook and eBay and at a bookstore and yada yada yada. A yada yada past the best part. But to get started, let's take a look right now, jump right in, and if you don't mind, do the kid a favor. How about subscribing to the channel? It doesn't cost anything, it is free, doesn't do no harm, and it might do you some good. I don't know. But a fellow with four names on the Facebook one night something was talking about having this book for sale, and I didn't have it, and I'm a big fan of Grady Hendrix. I've done a review of Horror Store, and I've done a review of My Best Friend's Exorcism on this channel. Check them out if you're interested. And this is one of his books that I haven't read, and it sounds really cool. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, a novel by Grady Hendrix. This is the hardcover edition, and it comes with a very cool signed book plate, if I can find it. I saw it in the beginning, but it comes with this cool book plate that's not attached, and I don't think I'll attach it, signed by Grady Hendrix with a little bit of character to it, which is neat. And also there's a piece of paper laying in here. I don't even know if I read it. From Grady Hendrix. And I really dig it, man. So this one is a first print, first edition, and here is where I'm getting that from. Here is our number line, goes all the way down to 1, and it comes from Quirk. So a neat trade hardcover edition, and it comes with a cool book plate. I'd seen these things selling before and started thinking, man, I wish I had one. Now I got one. Thank you, man with four names. Also, what else? This is one that I've been wanting for a while. I'm a big fan of Lawrence Block, and even bigger fan of the Bernie Roddenberry Burglar Mysteries. A very fun series of this burglar that always ends up getting in trouble. He's a good-hearted burglar, if there is such a thing, but it's a whole lot of fun. This series always kind of reminds me of Dashiell Hammett's The Thin Man. It always ends up into having to solve a crime, whodunit sort of a thing. A whole lot of fun. But this is the United Kingdom, first print, first edition, Golan's Thriller. And I already had a copy of this book, but it weren't signed. And as you know, signed is better. And this one is signed on the correct page, the title page, by one of my very favorite authors, Lawrence Block. So I got that one into my collection. Anytime I can add something cool to the Bernie Roddenberry collection, I will take that opportunity if I can. Next up, I'm also a big fan of a fella named Joe R. Lansdale. Ever hear of him? And I got a whole bunch of Joe R. Lansdale books. In fact, from here to here is Joe Lansdale. 4 shelves of Joe Lansdale stuff, as well as some Joe Lansdale short stories mixed into a bunch of anthologies up here. But this is one that I've been eyeballing for a long time and never bought it because the price is always too high. And what it is the regular old first print paperback copy of his most famous probably horror novel, and that's Night Runners. And I had some really cool copies already. Signed limited edition from Dark Harvest, a signed trade edition from Dark Harvest signed by Lansdale and Dean Koontz, who wrote the foreword. What else? Do I have anything else? I guess that's it. That's all the copies I have of that book. But this paperback here has such an awesome picture. The artwork on this cover is just one that I do truly love, and I've always wanted it, and I didn't want to pay an arm and a leg for this book. I didn't want to pay a lot for this muffler, so I finally got me a copy at a price I could tolerate, and glad to have it in the collection. Night Runners. That is the God of the Razor. If you're a Joe Lansdale fan, that is a famous character that you probably know a lot about. The God of the Razor, Joe R. Lansdale, Night Runners. Glad to have that in my collection. One of the first authors that I ever began collecting, because he was the first author that I was ever a true fan of, as opposed to reading somebody saying this is a good book and I'd read that. this is a good book and I'd read that. I started saying David Morrell is an author that anytime I get a David Morrell book, I'm going to read it. And so he was my first favorite author, and he's still one of my favorites. I love David Morrell. And this is a little gold book from Borderlands Press, and it's got some Kavanaugh short stories in it. I think three Kavanaugh short stories. I've got a couple of Kavanaugh books already in the collection. I got a hardcover and a trade paperback version of a couple Kavanaugh novels, but this one has some short stories. And like I said, it is from Borderlands Press, one of their little gold book series. And I didn't have the book, and I got it really cheap, and I'm glad to have it in my book collection, my David Morrell collection. This one is signed and limited to 500 copies. This one is number 480. Really quickly, the names of the Kavanaugh stories: Blue Murder, The Controller, and The Attitude Adjuster. Very good character. I suggest hopping in. And if you're interested in the novels, the first one is called The Protector. I loved it. And the other one is called, I think, The Naked Edge. I think. They're both very, very good. Anyway, I like it. What's up next? Let's talk about a fellow by the name of Robert McCammon. Ever hear of him? I'm a big fan. I love the Matthew Corbett series, and Levidian Publications has just put out a whole bunch of cool Matthew Corbett, Robert McCammon stuff. And I showed you a video of the signed limited edition of The King of Shadows. I showed you a video of the 5 advanced review copies of the 5 Matthew Corbett books that Levidian Publications put out. They also put out a trade paperback set of 5 books. One of them was signed, and that is Mr. Slaughter. Now, I didn't buy that set, but when I started seeing people bragging about their books and seeing the pictures of the signature page on Mr. Slaughter, I decided I had to get one. So when I had the opportunity on an eBay purchase, voila, I got the Mr. Slaughter book all by itself. It's the only one. So I already had the advanced review copies, which are exactly the same, except I believe exactly the same, except for it'll say advanced review copy on the cover somewhere. But I did want the signed edition, mostly because I wanted that signature page. And like I said before, signed is always better. So I showed you my advanced review copy already, and this one looks pretty much identical, except for an actual signature page that is tipped in and signed by the great one, Robert R. McCammon. Talking about Robert R. McCammon, I'm hoping I'm going to get the chance in December to see the author at a book signing, and I intend to be there and hopefully get to see Robert McCammon and get some books signed. Now, most of my Robert McCammon books are signed, so I decided I needed to keep an eye out for some unsigned books that I needed for my collection that I could get signed. One of them was this one right here, Gone South. I had 0 copies of this book, so I went and bought the first edition, first print, trade hardcover copy of Gone South from Pocket Books. And it's a nice looking book. It's the first print there. It's a nice looking book with some neat artwork on the cover. If graphic design is your thing, the cover looks good. That's what it looks like sitting on my shelf. And I'm hoping that pretty soon it will have a Robert McCammon signature somewhere in there. And so I got that one at a good price. It was just a book I wanted to take to get signed. Now, the next part of my book haul, I stopped in at a bookstore not too far from where I live. This store was in Newport Richey, Florida, and I'd been seeing them on the Facebook. They put up some fun, I guess you'd say, videos and things like that on Facebook. Anyway, I wanted to stop in there because it's a bookstore that I hadn't been to. Why hadn't I been to there? So I had to go to there. I speak good. But this one is called, what is it called? The Paperback Book Exchange. I stopped in, very nice lady, met me at the door, gave me the whole rundown of the whole store, and she conversed with me most of the time I was there. So it was a a fun shopping experience, and I actually found some stuff there that I needed. One of them was another one of these books by Robert McCammon that I didn't have, and I wanted to get one signed. So I got mine by Robert McCammon. I haven't read it, and I didn't have it. So I was very excited to be able to add this one to my collection. Hopefully I'll be able to get it autographed by the author. It was priced just a hair more than I wanted, so I asked, is there any way you can come down on the price? She was willing to come down a little bit, met me where I was more comfortable. I got the book at the price I wanted. It is a first print, first edition book, and you can see the dust jacket's real shiny. I already put the protective Mylar on it because that's what I do with my books. First edition, first print, also from Pocket Books. And like I said, hopefully on this title page, before too long, it'll be signed by Robert McCammon. And that's what I'm hoping. Wishful thinking, but I should hopefully get the chance. While I was there, I did pick up a few more books. She had a cool section. Cool for me. I don't know if everybody loves this stuff, but I collect movie novelizations of movies that I love. She had a section in this store which was pretty large, and she called it her books to movies section. So I said, would novelizations be in the books to movies section? And she said, yeah. So I went looking, digging around. I found a lot of cool stuff in there. But this was a books to movies section, and I found a few novelizations that I wanted. But I also found this cool copy of one of my favorite books from one of my favorite authors. This one is The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. And I've picked up over the years several of these, not these, but several softcover versions of this book, buying them simply for the cover, the art on the cover. And I've seen this one around online and such as that. And she had it in there, and it was cheap and in great shape. So I wanted it just for the cover. I've got some very nice editions of this book, but sometimes a good-looking paperback book just calls my name, and I can't pass it up. And I don't remember. I want to say I paid $2 or $3. I don't know, for this book, just for the cover, just because I like it, just because in great shape. I strongly recommend The Island of Dr. Moreau. It's also one of those books that a great movie was spawned from, that a lot of people haven't seen, called The Island of Lost Souls. If you've seen The Island of Dr. Moreau with Val Kilmer in it and Marlon Brando in it, you probably walked away saying, what? But way, 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 way before that, there was a guy named Charles Lawton who played Dr. Moreau in a movie called The Island of Lost Souls, and it was phenomenal. I love that movie. It doesn't exactly follow along the book very well. It gets the characters pretty well, but the story doesn't go the same. Great movie, great book. There you go. Also in this books to movies section, I got a book, one of 4 that I wanted. Somehow as a novelization collector, I got 0 Alien books. I don't have Alien or Aliens or Aliens 3, but I did pick up a copy of Alien Resurrection, the least of the series for my taste, but I thought it was still a pretty good movie. I saw this movie at the theater when it was brand new. I was so excited to see it, and I left there thinking, it was okay. And I still think that it was okay. But this was Alien Resurrection, good enough in my case to add it to the novelizations collection. It is a first edition, first print copy, which is kind of important to me, but not a deal breaker anyway. Another one that I added, this one is easy. I see it everywhere, and I've just never bought it. I don't know why. But this time I did, and that is Independence Day. Maybe the first movie I ever watched with Will Smith in it. I don't know. Saw this again at the theater, Spring Hill 8 in Spring Hill, Florida. And this movie was far better than I thought it would be. Not perfect, but I liked it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. And it is also a first print, first edition copy of that book. So I added that one to the collection as well. And the last of the movie novelizations for this video is John Carpenter's Starman by Alan Dean Foster. And I already had a copy of this, but it was ratty. It was ratty. This one's not perfect, but I wouldn't call this a ratty paperback book. It's decent shape. And it also is a first print, first edition copy of Starman by Alan Dean Foster, a very famous and maybe even a notorious movie novelization writer. He's written some good ones, he's written some bad ones, he's written a lot of famous ones, and all that kind of stuff. His story is interesting to say the least. So that's the last of my novelizations, but in the books to movies section, I did pick up a hardcover copy of Lee Child's The Killing Floor. Killing Floor, not The Killing Floor. But I read this book, I don't know, 12 years ago, 13, I don't know. A long time ago I read this book. And I really liked it. And I've read a couple more in the series. I haven't read the whole series. At some point I just stopped reading them. I don't know. I read maybe 5 books in the series. I liked every one. I can't say anything bad about it. But this was a first print, first edition, or first print. This copy was an interesting one. I don't know. It's got the full number line, but on the dust jacket, it has no price on the dust jacket. So I think it was some type of a book club edition, but the number line, it's got a number line, which book club editions usually don't have. And the end sheets are a different color than the end sheets on the other first edition, first print copy that I had that had a price on the dust jacket. And what else? When you take the book off, the spine, this material here on the spine, was the same color, but slightly textured on that one, and here it's more smooth. So I don't know, it's a weird book club edition, probably is what I have. But it was $4, so what the heck? You got to get it. I had to get it anyway. You don't got to get it. Last on my book haul list, I haven't even opened this thing up. It came in the mail today. I bought this from somebody on the Suntup book collectors group, and there were 2 books in here. I only wanted one. I sent a message saying, hey, I want one of them. I already got the other one. And he said, sorry, I can't break up the set. But the price was good enough where I said, man, I'll buy it, and then I'll just sell the one that I already got. Hopefully make some good money back on that and come out all right in the end. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm in the process, haven't even opened the box up yet. But let's take a look and see what it is. When I was picking out my shirt to put on just a few minutes ago, it occurred to me that maybe I should wear a Jaws shirt for this occasion. I don't know why. Maybe there's a reason. But let's take a look and see what I got. If it showed up in good shape. The seller used a priority box, just turned inside out. I got some good padding around here. And one thing of note, at the office where they dropped, I had them send this book, it says do not drop. And do not drop. It says do not drop all over the box. And my wife was at the office and she said, what's in the box that says do not drop? I want to see you open it. She didn't believe that they would put that on a box of books. And I said, well, if you drop a box of books, don't you think it would damage the book? Then it occurred to her that maybe that wasn't such a weird thing after all. But, nice. Good pops. That's the good stuff. I got a kid that would love it. And the one on top of my box is the one I bought this book for. I said I got it on a Facebook group called Suntup Collectors, something like that. And Suntup occasionally will do something called advanced review copies. And I've got a few. I've shown you some videos of some of these advanced review copies. And there are a couple that I didn't have that I really wanted. There's some that I don't have, but there's 2 that I really wanted. One of them is this one right here, and that is Jaws. Chomp. Jaws, a phenomenal, looks so great. As soon as I saw it, I said, I want one, and I never got one. The other one I want real bad is Red Dragon. I don't think I'll ever pay what it's worth for that. So I'm not exactly going to hold my breath there. But Jaws, the advanced review copy by Peter Benchley from Suntup Editions. And I was glad to get this one. You can see right here, if you can see right here, what it is. But beautiful, the beautiful cover. And the bite taken out of the cover adds a little bit of fun, flair, and class to the book. So let's briefly flip through here and look at some of the artwork that's in here. One of the neat things about Suntup Edition's advanced review copies is that they, at least the ones I have, they include the artwork in the book. It's not just the book bound, missing forewords and afterwords and the illustrations and all that stuff. At least the ones I have, they include it all. And this one here is a beautiful one. This was the first Suntup arc that I saw somebody show a picture of, and I said, man, I really feel like I'm missing out by not getting one of these. And it's taken me a little while, but I ended up getting one for my shelf. Had to buy it, and hopefully I'll come out okay in the end, not having paid too much for it. Just depends how much I can get for the other book that came with it. We'll show you that in a second. I've already done a book review on that one. I've already done a book unboxing video on that one. And here it is. Just some phenomenal artwork from the interior illustrations from John Anthony Di Giovanni. Just amazing. Beautiful stuff. And this book was exciting when Paul Suntup announced it. I was so stoked that I was on the number train and I was going to be able to get one. So I got a book. I got a numbered edition coming. It hasn't come in yet. Hopefully it'll be coming soon. I got an artist edition. See, I'm stepping on the bubbles. I got an artist edition already on the shelf. I've showed you that. And now I've got an arc. Terrific, got an arc. The other thing in this box, what else is in here? This was a twofer, and the seller said, I don't want to split it. I don't want to separate. So I eventually said, okay, I'll take them both. And this is the Suntup Edition's Artist Edition of Jaws. And I've already got a copy of that. I've done an unboxing video already. You can look it up and you can see all the beautiful ins and outs and all that kind of stuff with that book. But it is a stunning artist edition. There's the back of the slipcase. And my seller packaged this thing up nicely. I don't see any damage. Can you? Looks nice to me. And there's the spine. That's what you see on the shelf. I got one over there just out of sight. Let's take this out, inspect it, see what it looks like. One of the neatest aspects of this book was the surprise page in spray in red, and it really stands out in contrast to the beautiful blue, this dust jacket artwork. See, I showed you the arc, and then here's the artist edition, and they look a lot different, which is neat. The more variety I can get in books on my shelves, the better it is. But this is the iconic imagery that you'll see when you see Jaws. When I see Jaws, this is what I think of. I love that. Take the dust jacket off. Quickly, I'll show you how beautiful this book is. How absolutely stunningly beautiful this artist edition. Take off the dust jacket, and I don't know if it's more beautiful or not. Maybe I'll keep this. When I bought my first one, I said maybe I should get a second one to display without the dust jacket, and now I got a second one. Maybe I'll keep it. I don't know. And the artwork in here, look at the beautiful blue end papers. The artwork in here, I believe, is exactly the same as the artwork in the arc that I just showed you. So I'm not going to go through here and show you all the same pictures again. But this Jaws artist edition is stunning. Maybe I'll just keep it. But at the end of the day, I think that would be the end of this book haul video. I appreciate your time. Thank you for stopping in. C'est la vie, baby.